There was this woman in this village. She was so frustrated because her village was so dirty. And she said to herself, I wish somebody would come and clean up our village. And just as she was saying that, she saw a man in the distance with a big bag on his back coming towards them. And she thought to herself, oh, maybe he's the one who's gonna come and clean up our village. So she went over and she asked him, hey, would you help me clean up our village? And he said, sure. He took off the bag and it was full of trash. She said, oh, no, not that kind of help. I need you to take all this trash and throw it away. So he threw all the trash away, and then he looked at her and he said, what do you want me to do now? And she said, well, you just stay here and guard this pile of trash while I go get some more. So she went to the next house and she gathered up all the trash they had and brought it back to the first pile. Then she went to the next house and she did the same thing. She kept doing this until sunset. And when she came back to that first pile of trash, it wasn't a pile anymore. It was a fire, and she stood there dumbfounded, wondering why the trash was on fire. And the man looked up at her and he said, you wanted a clean village, didn't you? And she said, yes, I did. And he said, that's what we have. We've cleaned up the whole village. Then she noticed something. The fire had burned all the trash and it had turned into ashes. And those ashes were so light that when she picked them up, they just floated away on the wind. And she realized that the reason that they were able to clean up the whole village was because they had all worked together. But most importantly, they had taken responsibility for their actions. Because before this, people would just throw their trash wherever they wanted. They weren't taking any responsibility, they weren't cleaning up after themselves. And they expected someone else to come and clean up their mess. Now, I do know if you've ever been in this situation where you were waiting for somebody else to come and save you, to come and deliver you, to come and make your life better. Maybe you were waiting for someone to come and rescue you from your problems or to fix your problems for you. But the truth is, sometimes we have to be our own heroes. Sometimes we have to be the ones who take action. We can't just sit around and wait for somebody else to come and do everything for us. We have to be willing to take responsibility for our actions. We have to be willing to clean up our own messes. You see, this woman had a vision for her village. She wanted it to be clean. She wanted it to be beautiful. And so she took the initiative. She took the first step. She went out there and she started cleaning. And then she inspired the people around her to do the same thing. And yes, there was a man who came along who helped them. But the point is that he probably wouldn't have helped them if they hadn't taken the first step. You see, we have to be willing to start. We have to be willing to take the initiative. We can't just sit around and wait for things to happen. We have to make things happen. So I encourage you today, whatever your situation may be, if you want something to change, if you want something to be different, then don't just sit there and complain about it. Go out there and take action. Be the hero of your own story. Be the one who takes the initiative. Be the one who makes a difference. Don't wait for someone else to come and save you. Save yourself. Thank you.